That one sucks too. Why can't I come up with any good video ideas? Everything I think of is too boring, or too uninspired, or too confusing. I need something good, but it's not like video ideas are just gonna fall from the sky.
Fix the names of the month! It's bothered me forever. Why is October the only one that doesn't end in Ember? I propose Octember. Also, October isn't even the 8th month. Switch August and Octember and make August Ogtember. Also, March and May are regular words. Fix that! We need something better!
What? Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Pixel Posts. Pointless propaganda. On today's episode, we'll be renaming the months of the year. There are so many better things I could be doing right now. Of course, this video was suggested by Lydia in my Discord, so make sure to join that if you too have things to suggest. Now, for the sake of this video, I've come up with a multitude of different things we could potentially rename the months to, some of which I think are genuinely good ideas, and some of which, well, you'll see. But before we do that, why are the months named what they are? Hey guys, it's me, Professor Pixel, and I'm here today to teach you about why the months are named what they are. So, of course, to start, we have January, which is named after the Roman god Janus. This guy's pretty sick. He can see both the future and the past, and he's also the god of doors, which is kinda cool, I guess. Anyway, February is named after Februa, which was a Roman festival of purification or cleanliness. I know they weren't a bunch of gamers. March gets its name from the Roman god Mars, which is also what the planet is named after. I don't know why they felt compelled to name multiple incredibly important things after the literal god of war, but that's besides the point. Hey, where's that music coming from? April is taken from the Latin word aprire, which roughly translates to open, named this way because flowers tend to bloom or open in April. Then May is named after the Greek god. Wait, why is it Greek now? Maya is the Greek goddess of spring, so May is pretty self-explanatory. After that, June comes from Juno, the Roman goddess of marriage and childbirth, and then July and August are both named after Roman emperors, those being Julius Caesar and Augustus, respectively. However, they were originally called Quintilis and Sextilis, which directly connects to the next 4 months as well. September, October, November, and December are all directly named after the Latin prefixes for 7, 8, 9, and 10, as they were originally the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th months, before January and February were tacked on later. This also means that the aforementioned Quintilis and Sextilis represent 5 and 6. In conclusion, that's all the knowledge I'm able to share with you today, but in the meantime, this has been Professor Pixel, signing off. Now, to start, let's say we had to work with what the months are named currently. How could we rearrange them to be more accurate? Well, obviously, September, October, November, and December are gonna move up 2 spots from the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th months to the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th months. Because January is named after the god of looking forward and back, I feel like it makes the most sense to put it at the middle of the year, so January becomes the 6th month. Next, if you'll remember, February is named after a celebration of purification and cleansing. So I Googled what the cleanest month is, and I got told it was April. Because April showers. So simply put, February is now the 4th month. March is named after Mars, the god of war. And God of War 1, 2, and 3 all released in March of different years. So March stays March. Because April roughly, I can't speak English. Because April roughly translates into to open, I think it makes the most sense for it to open the year. So April is now the 1st month. May is named after the goddess of spring. Spring is in May, so May stays in May. This is when I started running out of ideas because we have the 2nd, 11th, and 12th months left, and I somehow have to slot June, July, and August into those. So normally June is the 2nd 30-day month of the year. So I'm putting June at number 2, but that's the only time I'm following that rule, and I'm abandoning that idea from here on out. And then that leaves us with spot 11 and 12, July and August, are 11th and 12th months because they were just named after some dudes. So it's just like, it's whatever. Now, returning to Lydia's suggestion, October isn't the only month that doesn't end in Ember, so I don't know why that mattered, but this brings me to my next proposal, which is name trios. Simply put, there's 12 months. Let's rearrange them into 4 groups of 3, each named similarly. Obviously, you have January and February, but I want to clarify that February, if we were to adopt this idea, would get its name changed to February, because that R is about as useful as I am. So what do we do to March? Well, we have January and then February. So why not Maruary? January, February, Maruary. I like it. I think it works. Then we have April, May, and then June and July. So I say we move April for later, move May, June, and July up, and then change May to start with a J. So now we have J, June, and July. I think that one's good. Now with April as the 7th month, it's followed by August and September. But let's switch September and October, because September can just go with November and December, so that's the last trio. And then April, August, and October don't end the same at all, but I do like how April ends. So let's just like put that onto August and October. So now we have April, Augril, and Octril. Guys, please don't crucify me. I worked hard on this video. So that makes the 12-month year the following: January, February, Maruary, J, June, July, April, Augril, Octril, September, November, December. Once again, do not crucify me. I worked hard on this. I'm gonna take this sweatshirt off before I die of melting. Continuing with Lydia's suggestion, October is in fact not the 8th month, but looking at it now, why are only 4 months named according to their numerical order? This brings me to my next idea, naming the months according to their number. Firstly, we have monober, or monober, however you want to say it, because mono translates to 1. The following prefixes for 2 and 3 are bi and tri, so that gives us bipril and tripril. Quad usually refers to 4, so quadember is our 4th month. I think we can just go with what the Romans had for 5 and 6, so quintilis and sextilis are our 5th and 6th months. Although, I think sextember would be really funny for 6. So we could do that as well. September, October, November, December for 7, 8, 9, and 10. And now December is the 10th month because the number prefix for 10 is dec, which means that the number prefix for 11 is undec, which means that I would now like to introduce the new 11th month of the year, Undecember. I like Undecember a lot. I think we should officially adopt this. I think this would be a good addition to the year. It's like you have Christmas and stuff during December, and then during Undecember, you like undo all the Christmas spirit. Like Krampus comes during Undecember and stuff. That's like the Grinch's favorite month, probably. Anyway, I'm sticking on Undecember for too long. Then the number prefix that is usually used for 12 is like dodec or dodeca. I don't want dodecember right after December and Undecember, so I just took a page out of English's book and made it 12ths. I took a page out of English's book and made it 12. Okay, now what if I were to name the months after holidays or events that famously take place during them? Well, obviously that's gonna be very subjective, so this is very much based on my personal experience, so don't judge me or like get upset if I don't mention a holiday that you celebrate, because this is fully biased. Full disclosure, this is a very, very biased list. Starting off the year is New Year's, so we have Newyember, which I actually kind of like the pronunciation of. That one's fun. Valentine's is like the most prominent thing I could think of for February, so Valentilis. Which, saying that, that's the first time I've said that out loud since writing it down. Like, I've been scribbling these ideas in my notebook and stuff and kind of brainstorming a lot. That's the first time I've said Valentilis out loud. Valentilis. March has St. Patrick's Day. I thought it would be funny if we just named the month Patrick. Like the guy. April has Easter, but I like April Fools more, and so April becomes Foolsuary. And I know that I just keep adding like ember or uary to like words to make the month names, but I absolutely can do that. This is my video. May is kind of just like the spring month, but my birthday's actually in May. It's on May 23rd. You guys all knew that, of course, and I'm assuming that the reason I didn't get gifts from all of you is just because you, like, forgot or you just were busy. It's okay, I'll let it slide as long as you remember next year. But May, instead of being birthday, it would be birth month. Kind of lame, I know, but it's whatever. Okay, now we're gonna get really pretentious. June is like the summer month, and summer in Latin is estis. So June becomes estist. which sounds really cool. It sounds like a fantasy name. July has July 4th, Independence Day here in the United States. So July gets renamed to Freedom with exactly 6 A's. I literally can't think of anything for August. So we'll just go with what Lydia said and do Augember. September has Labor Day. So September becomes Laborary, but we'll add the U to labor just so it feels a little fancier. October's the spooky month. Everybody knows Halloween, also known as Hallows Eve. So October just becomes Halloween. Here's another one coming from an ignorant, biased American. November has Thanksgiving, so November becomes Thanksuary. Although, in hindsight, maybe a whole month for giving thanks could benefit the world. And then December, obviously I know Christmas the most, but there's like so many holidays in December, and like the whole phrase Happy Holidays exists because there's so many holidays in December. And I don't want to like name the month after Christmas when people want to celebrate all of the other holidays, like all of them. So December becomes all of thember. All of thember is really funny. Not to toot my own horn, but moving on, in the current day, we have things that we attribute to you depending on the month you were born in. One of those things is birthstones, so let's do that. For January, we have Garnet. And so I made it Garnch, which sounds like the name of like just a guy, right? Like that guy's probably named Garnch. But now it's also the name of the first month of the year. Taking another page out of Quintilis and Sextilis's book, we have Amethyst for February, which becomes Amethylus, which sounds cool. But Amethyst already sounded cool, so it's not like I really changed much. Aquamarine could have been Aquamarary, but that's like a mouthful, so we made it Aquamarch. I said we. Like I had a committee decide on this was just me sitting alone writing in a notebook. This wasn't a committee. Nobody else talked about this besides me. Diamond is April's, so Dimber, which is kind of uninspiring, especially for diamond, but I couldn't think of anything better, so leave a comment if you got a better one. Emerald is May's, which is, I love green, so that's like, I don't know, just like side tangent. I love that emerald is my birthstone because emerald is such a cool stone or gem. I lucked out with that. Anyway, Emruary, which also sounds really cool. That sounds like a name that someone would have. Like if I met someone and they were named Emruary, I'd be like enamored. That's a big word. I don't know where I pulled that from. June has pearls, so Pearluary. I'm kind of like, I know I'm adding Uary and Ember to a lot of these, but I'm not doing it for everything. I promise there's more interesting ones to come. July has Ruby, but I like the idea that we would just change July to Ruby, but then pronounce it as Rubai. Like July, but Rubai. August gets Peridot, which I hate trying to pronounce or read because what the hell is that? So you know what? Let's just make it more confusing. Let's make it Peridost, because like I can just, if we're gonna be annoying and pretentious about it, I'm just gonna make it worse. September is Sapphire, and Saphember sounded cool. That's about my reasoning for that one. October has Opal. And I couldn't be asked to come up with anything creative for this, so October just becomes Opal. November has Topaz, which then becomes Topazuary. I'm sorry, it was so cool. I couldn't not do it. And then December has Tanzanite, so Tanzany. I like the vibe of that one, but it doesn't feel very December-y, but by this point, I kind of had given up on the birthstones ones, so we're moving on. I'm not one to follow astrology or zodiac signs, so for this one, I just named each month after whatever zodiac begins in that month. To start, Aquarius begins in January. Aquariuary. How do you even Aquariu? I get that I'm using Uary a lot, but in this case, it's funny, right? Aquariuary. Like, nobody's gonna be able to say that, and I think it's funny because of that. February gets Pisces, which becomes Piscember, which could also just be like the month of like Pie-sember, like you just eat pie during that. I don't know. Sorry, I had to Google what one of my own names was, like what zodiac it was meant to be, because I don't do astrology. March is Aries. I couldn't think of a good one for this, so I kind of just stole April's thunder and I made it, instead of Aries, April. I don't really know what I was thinking. April has Taurus, and I took a page out of August's book and just made it Taurist. Although, saying that out loud now, that's pronounced like exactly the same as tourist, or like close enough. That's kind of unfortunate. May has Gemini, so I just kept things simple and added an ly to the end, so it's Geminally now. June has Cancer. I didn't want to try to change this one at all, because I feel like it would just be trying to make a meme out of cancer. So June is just Cancer. July is Leo, Leotober. August is Virgo, Virgotober. September is Scorpio, Scorpiotober. I'm just kidding. Scorpily, which is probably worse than Scorpiotober, but whatever. Hey guys, it's me, Pixel, from the editing bay, and I just realized that I'm a freaking idiot. So let's go fix my mistake. Actually, before we do that, let's take a dog break real quick. Okay, dog break over. Right, so if we come over here, we can see that September's actually Libra, not Scorpio, which means that I renamed it to Librember, and that means that October is actually Scorpio, but instead of making it Scorpily, I say we just keep it as Scorpiotober, because that is just way better than Scorpily. I also have no clue how I even made that mistake to begin with, because in my script, there is nothing for Libra. I literally just forgot it. It's 11 spots, and I somehow didn't notice that until I was editing the video. But whatever. Back to you, Pixel. November is Sagittarius. And yeah, I did just add Uary again to the end of it, but like, Sagittariuary sounds really cool. And then lastly is Capricorn for December. So again, stole from Quintilis and Sextilis and made it Capritilis. Sorry, I had to read from my script because there's too many lines at the end there that I kind of got confused on what letters were which. Now, not to completely change the subject, but I really like when personification is used in writing. Describing something in a human way when it is not human is such a fun way to emphasize a description of some kind. And so let's do that for the months. Let's give them names, but like human names. January becomes Jane. February becomes Fred. March becomes Mark. April stays April. May is already a human name, but I didn't want to just keep it the same, so Mabel. I also just really like Gravity Falls. June is June. July becomes Judy. August, like the guy it was named after, just becomes Augustus. September was a weird one. There's not a lot of SEP names, so I just made it Sebastian. October can be Octavia or Octavius, depending on what you prefer. November is Norman, and December is Decker. As you can see, I had my friend Junith draw all the months as characters, so if you want to check out more of her art, her link is in the description. Go check her out. She does amazing stuff. Okay, what if I guess I could rank the months. First, we have May. There's no bias here. It's just like, it's the best month, obviously. The spring weather's awesome, and it's definitely not because it's also my birthday. At spot number 2, we have December. I love winter, and Christmas is just awesome, and the holidays are such a great time to spend with people. It's just a great month all around. Number 3 is April, because again, spring is great weather, great time, just all around great vibes. Number 4 goes to March. Same reasons as April, just slightly colder. Number 5 goes to September. It is good weather, and I love the September weather. The problem is that, like, this is usually when school starts up again, and I don't have good memories of those times. Number 6 goes to November, which it is a little chilly for me, but like, it's a good chilly, and also you get a week off for Thanksgiving break, at least here in the States. So that's where I'd put it. Number 7 goes to June. It's too hot. But like, you also do have, like, summer is fun, but it also is just too hot. Spot number 8 goes to October. I like the cold weather, but the biggest thing about this month is the spooky vibes. Other than that, it's kind of like just a filler month. If it weren't for Halloween, October is kind of like a nothing burger every year. Spot number 9 goes to July. For the same reasons as June, it's just hotter. So that means it's worse. Spot number 10 goes to January. It's like, I mean, it's okay. It begins the year, but like, it's really cold. And again, it's kind of just a nothing burger. Plus, that's when your winter break ends. So that's no fun. Spot number 11 goes to February. It's too cold. And it's also wet, so it's just not fun. And last place goes to August, because that's always when school starts. And again, I don't have fond memories of that. And it's also just like hell on earth, for lack of a better term. Thank you, weather. I can't wait to step outside and melt into the pavement. Okay, what else could I do? Colors are fun. January for me is a light blue, but not a light blue, a light blue. Like, so light blue that it's almost white. February is a nice pink, but like a pretty vibrant pink, while also kind of like almost a red pink kind of. March gets green, like a true green. Like green if it was green, you know? April, I'm not super like set on, so it's either light yellow or like a green yellow, but probably a light yellow. May, like February, is pink, but instead of being a red pink, this is more like a, what's the word? pastel pink. Why did I forget that word? June is a bright yellow, a bright sunny yellow. That's June for me. July is a searing hot white, but not as hot as August, which gets a fiery hellish red. September is the only one that I like don't have a color attributed to it at all, like including white and black and gray. Like I just don't. September has nothing for me. So September just gets blue, just for so there's more blue in here. October's orange, like a true real orange. That's October, like a pumpkin. November's brown, like a turkey. I wonder if these are attributed to foods at all. Hey, wait, that gives me an idea. And then December gets red because December. Anyway, what if the months had flavors? January would taste like a snowball, like a hard crunched up snowball, like ice or snow as a flavor. February, I wanted to say like a heart chocolate, but while the red heart is communicated in February to me, chocolate isn't as much. So I went with red velvet cake, which I know is also a chocolatey flavor, but at least the food is red, so it feels more right. March is just leaves. Like just take a bite out of a tree. That's March. What am I talking? April is like a lemonade, but like a really sweet lemonade. Just a real sugar bath, but with a lemony taste. This might be a bit too specific, but for me, May is like those Madeleine cookies. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. That's just what it is. June tastes like a scrambled egg. I was gonna say I don't have a way of like justifying that. The truth is, these are months of the year. You can't justify these in any way, shape, or form. There's no justification for justifying how a month would taste. July is like really heavily barbecued ribs, like just drenched in barbecue sauce. August is bacon, like really, like thick cut, chewy, smoked, hickory, bacon. Oh my God, I love bacon. I'm so hungry now. I don't know why, but September tastes like bell peppers. I don't know. If October doesn't taste like candy corn, what are you talking about? Thanksgiving tastes like turkey, but not like a specific kind of turkey, just any and all turkeys. And then December tastes like a candy cane, but not mint, a candy cane. There's a difference. Okay, well, what if we named the months to be named after the seasons they take place in? January would become Winter 2, which will make sense later. February is kind of like a weird mix between winter and spring, so February would become Sprinter, but not like a person running, like a mix, like spring and winter. March would become Spring 1, April would become Spring 2, and May would be Spring 3. June would be Summer 1, July would be Summer 2, August would be Summer 3. September is a mix of summer and autumn, so it becomes Sumtum. I like Sumtum. October would become autumn, and then November would be fall. Just for the hell of it. And then December, of course, is Winter 1, which is why January is Winter 2. It's like the Red Dead Redemption games. The second one comes first. I'm starting to run out of ideas here, but I want to keep this going. So what if we divided the number of days in the month by the number of letters the name of the month has? In this case, January would become 4.43, February would become 3.5, March would become 6.2, April would become 6, May would become 10.3333333, June would become 7.5, July would become 7.75, August would become 5.166, September would become 3.3, repeating indefinitely, but because September is 9 letters and sept is the prefix for 7, we would subtract 7 from 9, stay with me now, and that gives us 2, which means we would subtract 2 from 3.3 repeating indefinitely, which gets us 1.3 repeating indefinitely. So September is 1.33333. October would be 4.43, but we already had that for January, and because October is 7 letters long, but oct is for 8, we would add 1, which means that it would become 5.43. November would become 3.75, but because November is 8 letters and Nov is for 9, we would add 1, which would make it 4.75. And then December is 3.88, but because December is 8 letters and Dec is for 10, we would add 2, which makes it 5.88. That had to be the most confusing segment I've ever done for a video ever. Okay, that's great and all, but what if all of the months were named after March? The first month of the year is not March, and the second month of the year is also not March, but the third month of the year is Marchist. The fourth month would be Marcher, the fifth month would be just March, and then the sixth month, because it's the middle of the year, would be mid-March. The seventh month would be Marching, the eighth month would be late March, and then the ninth month would be maybe March. The 10th month would be less March, and then the 11th month would be March less. And then lastly, for the 12th month, I don't think this is March, but I'm always open to having a discussion about it. Okay, great, that's sick. But what if all of the months were just PNGs of eggs? Isn't that awesome? And then this is what they would... Yeah, right, like I could ever make a video out of that. Be like, no. You hit me up here. That doesn't work.
This is the biggest moment of your life. Everything you've done has led up to this.